Here we go. Game number 9 on the countdown of the top 10 plays in the decade. We're talking about the Otterbein game in 2011. And kind of give a quick little setup on this. It was week 2. We were 1-0. Otterbein was 1-0. Both teams in the top 25. We were ranked, I believe, 12th or 13th, and they're ranked about maybe 23rd, 24th. Fun game. Home game of the season for us. And this is kind of set up a little bit further. Otterbein had a nice run. 2008, they went to the national playoffs during this little stretch here. 2009, they were 8-2, and 2010, we played them. They were also in the top 25. So that 3 or 4 year window, they had a couple really good teams, and they in 2009, in fact, they basically beat us in a 1-point game that cost us the national playoffs. So let kind of talk a little bit more, Devin. Maybe you want to talk a little more about the offense before we get going.
Yeah, I think in this game, being early in the season, we definitely kind of found out what our identity was going to be on offense with, Binger goes over 100 yards in this game. Justin Wilson was our leading receiver, a couple touchdowns. And then more importantly, from an identity standpoint, it showed that we had a lot of different guys that could make a lot of different plays, as we'll see coming up on the film.
All right, Glenn, let's talk about defense.
I think, as we talked about, the number 10 team or the number 10 game is voted. This team is twice now in the countdown. I think it's just a testament. Again, I think this game, if I remember correctly, as we'll see in a little bit, a couple more turnovers. I think they did a good job getting after the quarterback and just, applying pressure. So, just really speaks to their toughness again. And I think you'll see Zach Click show up and Joey Powell. And I think you'll still see some Sean Denson and Trigger Hendrickson on the D-line. And, I just think, the toughness of this team, and it's not surprising that this team has, our first 2 votes, number 9 and number 10. See if they have any more coming up later.
All right, let's go to the video. The flow of the game, really was a heck of a football game. The final score, we won it in overtime when they went for 2, but they start off and scored first. This is, I think, the second time they have the ball.
Yeah, so, our defense this year they just did a really good job of kind of zoning out the white noise and really focusing on just the task at hand. It didn't matter if they were up 30 or down 30 or if there was adversity or if it was a precision type game. They just always kept running and playing and just kept fighting.
Okay, we get the ball right here. I think this ends up leading to one of our first drives for points here, Devin.
Yeah, we came out pretty good in the first half, end up, putting some drives together, and I think 24 points in the first half. And I think this was kind of the play that got it sparked and, found something that you'll see we come back to a few times. But guys getting to the ball and obviously, running and blocking.
Again, just more pressure. I think we did a really good job here of just disguising. You think maybe the top side linebackers come in and all of a sudden the bottom side linebacker comes and, the quarterback expected that hot throw, and he was in coverage, and I think that's Zach Click with the pick. It just kind of speaks to the overall, kind of caliber of the unit, and it's more than just 11 guys on the film. We got a lot of backups in there, and this was a pretty good springboard for some younger guys on defense too.
I got to point this out. It's always good when you see the opposite coach getting mad, kicking the ball into the net right there in the sideline.
Yes, anytime you can get the opposing coach frustrated, I feel like you're probably achieving some sort of maybe unwritten goal in your game plan.
Yeah, it was a really good disguise right there to get that pressure home. And Zach, the Bulldog Click out of Cloverleaf, just a tough dude, man. This was his 5th year. He had moved from safety to outside backer the previous year. Just a really nice career for us.
I think they try to, maybe confuse the defense here with some spread and maybe get some sort of draw action or some sort of, kind of up the gut type run. And, it was tough to run on, Mike King and Cody Kelly and Malcolm Burrell in there and Steve Kenny getting some reps. And, Joey, I think, has a pretty good couple tackles for a loss as well, Joey Powell. So, again, I think just this team, man, there's a common theme as you watch these clips, that's for sure. Fun group to coach, just more effort, a little line twist and just trying to find lanes. And I think one thing that's probably pretty evident is these last 2 games, just the ability of these guys to run to the football and
Mhm.
The more you advance in scheme and technique, all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, if you get 11 guys just running, you're going to have good things happen.
No doubt. Good example here, I think, of spreading them out right here and getting Justin Wilson, a good playmaker, Devin here, and kind of isolated.
Yeah, I think what we kind of knew at this point in time was that Justin was pretty good and the opponents knew that, but with the other weapons that were around him, they had to respect it. So you can't spread him out and all of a sudden you get a guy like that isolated in what ends up being basically a one-on-one situation. We'll take those odds every day. Being able to spread guys out and knowing that the ball can go to all 5 eligibles definitely makes life a lot easier.
If I remember correctly, I believe Coach Hager did like to throw the ball to those eligibles, if I remember correctly.
Yes, high up on the priority list.
No doubt. That was about 4 minutes left in the first half right there. That put us up 17-7. In this drive, we got the ball, and I think we're probably thinking, let's try to get a couple first downs and see what happens. And we end up putting together a nice drive and scoring with just a little bit over a minute to go to take a 24-7 lead.
Yeah, good job by Banger there, but really the perimeter blocking, big cut block out there from number 2. I can't tell who that is, but definitely sprung it, and then all of a sudden you go from thinking about getting to halftime to getting in the end zone.
That might be. Is that a Pat or Carl? Pat was a good, scrappy perimeter blocker. That might.
What they had back then, some sort of Sharpie or Roach Point, or what they used to pass out those receivers. They took a lot of pride in that stuff.
Roach points, yes. That was the number of points you got blocking, getting guys in the ground. You had a certain accumulation of points for the week or the season, really.
I think these guys did a good job, both, my experience, offense and defense, just taking pride in what they had to do individually as their job, which was good.
So this was probably the most important non-scoring play of the game. I think 4th down here, kind of in that in-between with the wind, and end up getting a conversion, set up for, obviously, in a game like this where it goes to overtime, every point counts. So
yeah, I was wrong. This was actually the one prior was the beginning of the second quarter. This one was 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. This score right here was, again, gave us a 24-7 lead. So good, because that was a 4th down and 9 play, kind of just a little bit out of field goal range, and we decided to go for it, and the guys made us right.
Here kind of showing maybe what would look like zero, coverage and against empty, and just really kind of sending those guys, and they knew what was at stake. They knew what they had to do, and I think we caused a fumble here and jump on it, and just turnovers again and playing fast and just running. I mean, there's 10 guys within 2 yards of that football when that whistle blows, and that's something that these guys did a really good job of doing.
That led to the score right before the half to put us in a good position there with the lead. Otterbein did kind of answer and score right before the half to cut it to 24-14 at the end of the half. So I think here we're kind of getting into the third quarter now.
Yep, second half, so this is where it gets real kind of back and forth, and good field position again. I'm getting some guest appearances from my kids over here.
Okay, all right. It's all good.
Yeah. I don't care. Just do whatever you want.
Good advice.
Life advice from Coach Ross. Yeah.
That's probably something Colin Bishop never heard. Colin Bishop, left tackle, probably never heard, just do it the way you want it.
Right. It's like coaching football. Just go out there and get in the end zone, right?
Exactly.
That was a 3rd down play right there to punch the ball in right there. You get some good blocks. You got Tyler Joseph pulling around and some movement there, right? Where you got Bishop and
looks like Bishop with poor technique, but getting it done. And then I think we used some tempo there. Coach Hajar used a little tempo there to get them going, kind of keep Otterbein off balance a little bit.
This stop right here was big, Glenn. If I remember correctly, this is the third quarter, and holding them to a field goal here was pretty big.
Ends up being that way for sure, yeah.
Kind of get them off schedule a little bit and force them into a field goal. And as you said, that ended up being pretty big. Every point down the stretch was huge.
Yeah, trying to get, we got the pressure on the empty. This is new empty. Now we're showing a different kind of coverage, and I think they, maybe they were a little confused. It just kind of sticks his foot in the ground as a draw, and there's Joey Powell right there as he always was.
This was an important play from what I recall.
Okay. So here, let's set the table here. We end up taking a drive at the end of the game after Otterbein tied it up. Otterbein tied it up with looks like about 3 minutes to go. We drove down. We ended up getting a bobbled snap and on a field goal to win the game with about 30 seconds to go. They blocked it. So we go into overtime. We score. Otterbein gets the ball, and they're part of overtime. We had the ball first, obviously. And here they're going for two. They decided to go for the win. The ironic thing was they won the game the week before. You guys remember this? Against Gallaudet the week before. They won in a 2-point play. So we expected that they were feeling confident that, and they would go for it. The interesting thing was, they put the ball in this hash, and our guys are pretty smart. Chad Coward and some of these guys, and they kind of picked up on it right away that this is probably going to be a play action pass and not an actual run. This was a running formation.
It's tough to run the ball in from the 3-yard line from that position.
Exactly, and I think it's a great point, Glenn. I think our guys were kind of clued into that, and they had run a power play successfully earlier, but again, I think they thought we would bite on that, but not with the ball in that hash and not with that situation. So then that was it. Go Bears, get the win. Fun day. And I think the fun thing about this for us, I hope this is the way I feel, I'm sure you guys feel the same way, is, going over these games is fun, but it's also, it's even, to me, it's even more fun just think about the players. Think about the guys who are part of these games and think about the people more so than just the game. So some great guys that we love hearing from whenever we do, and love seeing them when they come back in the fall. So hopefully we'll see them this fall. All right, guys, appreciate it again. We'll get to game number 8. The hint for game number 8 is, I'll just say it's from 2017. So we'll get that one out probably on Monday. Go Bears.
Go Bears again.